新年快乐，恭喜发财, Happy Lunar New Year! Welcome to Boba Sha. Let's take you on a zhen swirl. Today, we're going to talk about the different types of tea. First, we'll start with the characteristics that define tea. Then, we'll discuss the 6 true teas. Lastly, we'll talk about the variations associated with tea and why it's important to differentiate this. This is an episode with no guests, but if you're interested in joining my cup of tea, reach out. It's been quite a while since the pilot episode, but I hope you're doing well. Let's take the time to sip some joy. What's in your cup? My drink today is a hot, straight ruby oolong tea from Taiwan with nothing added. It feels like a warm, brothy hug. For the longest time, I've been contemplating how to write this episode, and this oolong is the perfect first choice. Whether I would have released the episode over the fall, it would pair really well with some of the New England flavors, such as Gouda cheese, apples, oysters, or other fall goodies. Now that it's February, it's still a great choice because it's been snowing quite a bit lately, and a tea with a high umami profile works really well in the cold. Not only that, red is perfect for the new year. Whether you celebrate or not, I wish you prosperity, wellness, and peace of mind for the upcoming wood snake year. For an exploring drinker, this is actually very welcoming to the art of tea due to the roundness of its texture. It's a bit velvety and glides on the tongue without a lot of astringency, which is something that often deters new tea drinkers and had kept me away from teas for quite some time. Given the strong umami and smooth mouthfeel, it has quite a high free amino acid content, which we can go further into for future episodes. When I drank this at the World Tea Expo, it was quite memorable because of these notes, and I love when a tea shines with its depth and symphony of flavors. My note at the time, since I was rather distracted with conversation, was briefly that it had a tall and bright flavor, but leaned a little towards a black tea. Today, I paired it with an experimental cookie using kinako flour for the batter, which is Japanese roasted soybean powder. Maybe in the future I can go further into that, but it was an interesting punch of umami between the two. The cookie somehow embraced a very peanut buttery flavor, and I had added a little bit of maple as well. My friend noted that it was like a light version of a Nutter Butter. Hooray! The pictures will be featured on social media. Taya is bundled up, so she won't drink with us. Let's start, shall we? First, let me ask a question. Which of the following are teas? Jasmine, Darjeeling, chamomile, oolong, Earl Grey, rooibos, pu'er, gyokuro, chai. If this is your first time meeting me, enchanté. I love questions. Fun with learning is how we grow, so there's no concern with guessing or getting them wrong. I have been incorrect before, and I hope you challenge me, kindly, or tell me when my information is incorrect. But please come with sources. These are meant to keep you on your toes. We'll come back to them, but first, let's define what a tea is. Tea, by definition, comes from the Camellia sinensis plant. There are variations between C. sinensis and C. assamica. However, the true definition of tea is that it comes from this plant species. Anything outside of these bounds is not necessarily a pure tea. And that's okay. We're here to educate. Let me ask you this. What are the 6 teas? A lot of people do struggle with this answer too, so bonus points if you do get this correct. They are white, yellow, green, oolong, black, and dark. These are mostly prevalent in Chinese tea. In Mandarin, there's a slight difference in how the teas are named. White is bai cha, or white tea. Yellow is huang cha, or yellow. Green is lui cha, or green. Oolong is oolong, or black dragon. And here's where it may confuse someone. Black is hong cha, or red tea, the direct translation from Mandarin. Dark is hei cha, or black tea. Personally, I default to black, but may switch to red for the English name of this tea. I otherwise will always call a dark tea to reduce confusion. To also note, dark tea is referring to the fermented black tea, often known as pu'er. However, we'll go over that in a bit. To be strict, calling something a tea must have Camellia sinensis. What we call in the food industry is the standard of identity, and with tea, it must have tea leaves from the tree species and its variants. Although it may not matter to someone outside of the tea world, this distinction is important to prevent fraud or other misleading products, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, especially since tea can reach very expensive prices. There are 4 categories that people often label as tea. The first is a straight tea, These are the leaves from Camellia sinensis trees. The leaves are plucked, processed, and packaged for consumption, whether that be loose leaf, powder, or tea bag. This is a true tea. The second is a tea blend. These combine C. sinensis with essence, flowers, extract, etc. You could technically call it a tea, but it would be more correct to call it a tea blend. The third is a tisane. These do not contain C. sinensis at all. These are infused botanicals in water. There could be beneficial effects, but are often meant for relaxing or enjoying versus relieving something. And the fourth, is herbal tea. This is a fun topic that I won't go into too much detail today, but spans across cultures around the globe. This takes different herbs, roots, leaves, etc., with the intention to improve symptoms, relieve pain, induce excretion, etc. As a scientist, I cannot speak definitively about this, but I do think there are approaches and pharmaceutical interventions that the West is finally starting to explore in medical and health sciences research. If you're interested in discussing, please feel free to reach out. So, we have tea, tea blends, tisanes, and herbal teas. Going back over the previous names, what did you get? Let's review. Jasmine is a tea blend that starts with a straight tea, often green or black, that is enhanced with jasmine flowers or buds. Darjeeling is a straight black tea from India or southern Asian regions. Chamomile is categorized as tisane as it is floral with no tea leaves. Oolong is a straight Chinese tea. Earl Grey is a tea blend. It's black tea flavored with bergamot oil or extract, which is a citrus native to southern Italy. Rooibos, this can be called a tisane, but is also considered an herbal tea from South Africa. The leaves coming from Aspalathus linearis are fermented. Pu'er is a straight Chinese dark tea from Yunnan province. In some ways, you can consider pu'er to resemble the champagne of tea, as it can only be called as such if it is from this region of China. Gyokuro is a straight Japanese green tea. And lastly, chai is a spiced Indian black tea blend. These are all wonderful to drink, and if you're just starting, don't feel intimidated. The journey through tea has many gems, and if it's the second most consumed beverage after water in the world, you know you're not alone. There's quite a bit of information. I wanted to keep this episode short and sweet, so I'll stop here. Taya and I are so happy you're back to share tea with us. From the bottom of our hearts at Boba Shah, may your community be graced with health, wealth, and acceptance. Take care.